Yo, today's a fun one with my main man, Eric Hammer. This dude's a rising superstar as a foodie influencer, while also an advisor for massive food and beverage brands. So we did a deep dive on marketing, branding, his story, and much, much more. Let's get into it.
You know where you are!
This is the Podcast. Let's go!
For real, man, it's awesome to see like your growth, because obviously we've known each other from I think the first video you did or second video on TikTok.
Yeah.
And just seeing your organic growth
Thank
is just
you.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like super proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. I think I owe a lot of it to you, to be quite honest, but I appreciate that.
Why? What makes you say that?
I think it was my second video that I ever
Yeah.
made that was an O-Bagel video.
Yeah.
It caught your eye in some way, and you asked me essentially to like run the TikTok for O-Bagel.
Yeah.
And I remember saying like, okay, just want to make it clear, I've only made 2 videos before. Are you sure? And I think you basically said something to the effect of, yeah, we'll figure it out together. Let's do it. So you giving me a shot to like test new creative things out was helpful to me.
Yeah,
So-
man. I think it's because for me, it's like same thing with like, there's a lot of people on our team. Like sometimes I just see this like hidden star in somebody. And for me, I take pride in being like,
Sure.
I was right about them. I don't think about my losses, my missed shots on some people, but when it's a win, I just like, it's just awesome, you know? And I remember like, I think what caught my eyes, like it was your energy, it was what you brought, it was the quick shots and your editing skills. And I think that's what I saw from you. And I'm like, all right. Plus, I really wanted to get TikTok going.
Yeah.
I was like, I know this thing is the future. It has to be. And I know we're a bagel store, but I don't care. It's like, I don't think of O-Bagel as a bagel store. I think of O-Bagel as like a company. I think of O-Bagel as like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed to do.
I will say though, we have almost 200,000 followers on TikTok, and I know you don't think of it as just a bagel shop, but what bagel shop has 180,000 plus followers? That's insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. I guess.
And I know I'm not minimizing what O-Bagel is. I know it is so much more than just a place that sells bagels. But at like a bird's eye view, it is pretty crazy that we have so many followers, and the videos for the most part are just bagels and sandwiches and cream cheese. And
the bagel knock.
there's not much to it.
It's the bagel knock. I'll never forget.
amazing.
We were doing so many different pieces of content, and it was right before you left. And I was like, yo, there's hot bagels coming out of the oven. Let's go outside, because it was snowing that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just do this real quick. Quick knock, opened it, done. You left, and that was it.
Yeah.
Posted it. Fucking viral.
I remember I was sitting right here on this couch, and I remember watching the number in like real time, like refresh 1,000 more views. All of a sudden, like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, like in a matter of minutes.
That was my watch.
In a matter of minutes, it was happening, and I was like, "What a dopamine rush that was!"
It was, dude. It still is, even when it happens. The other day, another one went viral. I think it hit 2.6. When a piece of content goes viral, the dopamine is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I there was something different about watching it happen in real time. Like, and maybe it was because it was the first time that it happened for either myself or O-Bagel, and I probably sat on the couch for 3 hours, just like the number was going
refreshing.
It didn't stop. It was incredible.
Did you always want to get into content? Like, what were you doing before you started shooting content?
No, I didn't always want to get into content. I've loved Twitter for the most part. Like, Twitter is my favorite app. It has been since high school. I've loved Twitter. It is my main source of news, entertainment, information. It's changed in many ways in recent years, mostly not for the better, but if something is happening, Twitter is where it's happening first. Like, it is live information coming out, news. If there's breaking news happening in the sports world, in like the world in general, people find out about it on Twitter before anything else. That's just how news gets put out.
Yeah.
It just is. So I've loved that like real-time aspect of it. And then I started using Twitter for myself, like just getting my own thoughts out there. So I've always liked using... It's silly to say I've liked using the social media apps because like everybody does. But I consider myself like almost like a super user in many ways, at least for Twitter in the early days. But I didn't always want to. I studied finance in college. I thought I wanted to work in that world. I didn't. I never really dipped my toes I dipped my toes in. I never really like swam in that pool. Had a couple different jobs, and I quickly realized that it was like sucking the soul out of my body. It was very much, the jobs that I had were very black and white with numbers, and I was very siloed in what I could and could not do. And that's nobody's fault, but I realized I needed something where my personality could be part of my job, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There wasn't much room for me to be creative and be myself in a supply chain role where I was like managing inventory on 9 months out when I worked at Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, it's very like analytical.
Yeah, and I like that also. I have this analytical part of my brain and the creative side, which I think is an advantage because I can combine those two things. So that's why I'm thoughtful and strategic about the way that I attack creatively.
Yes.
It's both sides of my brain, which I don't think a lot of people take advantage of if they have the interest in both sides. I like the numbers and the data and the analytical side of things, but I wanted to become more on the creative side.
So what do you mean by that? Like what specifically? Like what would you do? Like do you look at your watch rate? Like,
I'm not like a nerd in that sense. I maybe that's not the right term. I try not to be overly precious about that because if I overanalyze every single post and every metric, I'm gonna drive myself crazy. Where I know just on to the next one, put the next piece of creative out, and things will just work out for themselves, and hopefully. But I keep track of numbers, not being like a spreadsheet or anything, but I'm paying attention to what videos are getting the most shares. What kind of videos are people sharing versus a video that someone just drops a comment on? Because a video that gets shared, now somebody else is seeing that. So lists, people love lists. My top 5 bagel sandwiches, right? People like sending lists out to people. Or if you have a really hot take, people send those things around. Anything that's thumb stopping that has a really good hook, people send those things around. So I pay attention to how people are engaging with my posts and other posts too. That's probably
do you focus on likes, comments, shares? You look at shares the most?
I think shares is probably the most powerful. Views are obviously cool, but people can be watching and not caring.
Yeah, fair.
If they're not engaging with it, if they're not liking, commenting, sharing, bookmarking, or saving, whatever it's called, I wouldn't call it a failure, but there's room for improvement then. So I think shares, for someone to share a video, there's a reaction.
Yeah.
They are reacting to something. Yeah, there's something triggered that thought. Oh, let me send this to Steve. Let me send this to Christian. Let me send this to whoever. So I think that when the share numbers are high, that's a metric of success.
Were you always, because you said you love Twitter, and I noticed this about you too, is I feel like you're very good at copy. You've always been very good at copy.
Yeah.
How you react to people and all of that through your words. You're very witty. But then there was a transition into you putting yourself in front of the camera.
Totally.
How did you start gaining so much confidence in front of the camera? Were you always confident in front of the camera, or there was a natural transition? How did that happen?
I still don't think I'm comfortable in front of the camera. That's why I do my videos from my kitchen table with nobody here. I'm not doing anything live. I can say the same thing 5 times to get it right. No one sees that except for Marissa, who's sitting right next to me.
Just Ian.
Yeah. So that's not unintentional that I'm doing it here versus out in public.
It's your true, figuratively and literally, your home base.
Yes, exactly. I'm very comfortable at my kitchen table, as everybody should be, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little more to it, why I do content here versus somewhere else. But that is, I still don't find myself super comfortable in front of the camera. I don't mind it. I like it. I know that how do I phrase this? I think I can make up for a lack of skill that somebody else might have with my personality. I know I have, somewhat of a gift of gab, and I can talk my way into things, out of things, whatever. Witty is the term that you used. I'm self-aware in that sense. So I'm willing to put my personality out there where I think a lot of other people are not. Even people who create content, they're not putting their personality into their content. They might be highlighting things, they might be explaining things, they might be giving information or educating in some way, which is great. It doesn't make it wrong. But I think being able to put your personality in front of something, that's how people really connect with you, because then they get to know you on a deeper basis.
What advice would you give someone to? I know you're saying maybe you're not fully confident or whatever it may be. I think it's an ongoing progression of confidence.
Yeah.
But someone that wants to start a foodie account or become somewhat of an influencer or whatever it may be in their respected category, what advice would you give to them?
I actually just talked about this in my last Obagel video from last week, because people have been asking me about that. How do I start a food account? I want to start a food account. The first answer is to start, which sounds silly,
No, yeah.
but that is the hardest hurdle. Like, you have to just start. It's like, oh, I'm thinking about making an account. Make the account. I'm thinking about posting videos. Post the video. It's going to be bad. That old bagel video, my second video, if I watch it now, I'd want to curl up in a ball and die, I'm sure. It's terrible. It's come a long way. My style has changed. Mm-hmm. My storytelling has changed, but you just got to start, and you need to be consistent. But I think, to answer your question, you need to have some sort of POV, something to say, something that is going to be different from what I'm doing, what you're doing, what you're doing. You need to bring something to the table in terms of like an opinion or a personality, something that will create a reaction out of people, or cause someone to connect with you in some way or relate to you. Starting, being consistent, and having a perspective on things, bringing something to the table, like an actual opinion that you can back up. I think having those things, if you do all those things, I wouldn't even call it a first step, because you've done a lot. But if you can stick to that, things will change, but like, you need to be able to do that over and over again in some way.
No, I think that's a good point, man. I think that's like, because it's so scary to do that. But sometimes the simplest formulas of success sound so simple, but there's a reason for it. It's like just starting, being consistent, and trying your best to just be your authentic self.
And if you're scared to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera.
Fair.
You can do voiceover. If you don't want to do voiceover, you can put the AI text on the screen. If you don't think you have the writing skills to even do that, to make it compelling, you can just make a video. You can just post pictures. Like, video is the new wave now. I wouldn't even call it new, but finding a format that you're comfortable with, whether that's on camera or off camera.
And you're not going to figure out.
You.
Yeah, you're never going to really figure it out until you just throw a bunch of shit
Exactly.
Dude, I've done so many with Obagel, we've done so much styles of content that, like, knowing what works, what doesn't work.
And we're willing to test and fail. You have to be.
You have to fail, dude. It sucks, but like
especially when you find something that works, trying something else.
Yeah.
Where it's probably not going to hit as hard as like the last thing did, but if you need to try things a couple times also to like try to, especially the way these algorithms work, it's like, once you do something, it's great to double and triple and quadruple down on it, because the algorithm tends to reward those things. But at the same time, you need to be willing to like try something new, because you need growth for your own content anyway. So you have to be willing to test those things out, and you have to be okay with the very realistic possibility that it's going to fail. And fail is a very subjective term.
I think that's a very good point. I think a lot of people don't like, failure just sounds so aggressive, man.
Yeah.
It's like, even back in school for me, I used to just like, I was a horrible student, and I think that's why I don't really care for failing. I'm like, fuck it, on to the next.
Well, that's what I said before. I said that before. It's like, I'm, as much as I want every single post to be the next big post, I am thinking about the next one. I'm editing the next one. I'm writing copy for the next one. I'm filming the next one, and I'm getting ready to post that and go to the next one.
Was there a particular moment? Was there a particular moment that you were like, I'm onto something? Or particular piece of content
happened,
or something?
Sort of, yeah. For a while.
Fucking Joey Barra.
Important calls, bro. Business never sleeps.
Tell him to call later. Unprofessional. Sorry.
Not unprofessional. That's real. Yeah. That's real life. For a while, the only videos that were working for me were deli sandwich videos.
Oh, I remember that, dude.
Because it was bothering you. The first video of mine that went viral was a Fiore sandwich video.
Yeah.
Which was deserving of going viral because the Fiore's roast beef sandwich is amazing. And we're getting it tomorrow. We already have our Saturday planned out. We haven't had it in months. So I found something that worked, and I wanted to try to replicate it and do it again. So I got another deli sandwich from somewhere in Hoboken. The Fiore's one got 1 million views. The next one got 500,000 views. The next one got 400,000. The next one got another 500,000. Like it was working. And I was going to delis every weekend. It was horrible. I don't even love deli sandwiches, bro. I love a good deli sandwich, but I'm not like passionate about deli sandwiches. I try to be low carb. I don't process dairy very well. Every sandwich has a ton of bread and mozzarella, and it was rough, dude. But it was working, and nothing else was working. I was trying to squeeze other things in, and maybe this will take off, and I can stop doing deli sandwiches. Wasn't working.
I respect your commitment for the views. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's like, fucking my stomach. You're probably still trying to recover from your stomach issues.
That's probably
it's why the deli surge.
That's probably why I have issues now. Is like too much bread and mozzarella cheese and chicken cutlets for like over the course of like 6 months or so. It was, but it was good sandwiches. Where we're blessed to be in this area. Like,
definitely.
I grew up in Central Jersey, where like we have great Italian delis. North Jersey is like a gold mine.
I mean, that is what.
And Hoboken specifically,
definitely.
You have to go out of your way to find a bad deli, a bad chicken cutlet.
On the lowest tier deli sandwich, bagel store, wherever it may be in this area, would dominate.
Most
in 99% of the country.
Oh, the country. Oh, for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah. Dominate. It's true. So the deli sandwiches were the only thing that were working for a while, and the format was like I was filming a bunch of like little videos, and I was writing a script and doing voiceover, saving a lot of time. Not only like driving to the delis, spending money on sandwiches, coming back, filming, eating, and then editing and writing the script and doing the voiceover. There's a lot of work. And then I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to do less work. Was it work smarter, not harder?
Yeah.
So I think I started doing more deli sandwich videos, but sitting at the kitchen table, where once I press play, and I record while I'm eating the sandwich, I talk about the sandwich. When I press stop, all I have to do is chop it up now. There's nothing else for me to do in terms of editing. So I was trying to figure out a way to sort of like game my own system that I built for myself, where I was doing less work in terms of editing. And then all of a sudden, the kitchen table format started seeing some success. And then I started swapping out a deli sandwich and swapping in like a burger or a wrap or other things that I wanted to eat because I was only eating deli sandwiches for a long time. That's an exaggeration, but from a content standpoint, that is pretty much the truth.
I respect that you did your best by like, you doubled down on what was winning, but you started trying to pivot in a way, but not something super drastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You like try to veer it. The way that you wanted to go.
It was the deli sandwiches.
Let me build a foundation.
People love the deli sandwiches because like the sandwiches look great. People have their own favorite delis, then they're going to be like, no, mine's better than this one. No, mine's better than that one. So that format, deli sandwiches, is going to be a hot topic for people who live in New Jersey, always. So it was just a matter of finding out a better format for me. And I'm thankful that it worked out with the kitchen table because the rest is history.
Yeah, dude. And you could just double down on that.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with like on the positive side, but then do you deal with any negative feedback?
All the time.
How do you deal with that?
I answer every single comment.
Really?
Yes. I've made it a point to answer every single comment. And this is going back to when I was just using Twitter and tweeting to my friends. I have, 500 followers on Twitter.
You still comment to every comment? Or just every negative comment?
I try to respond to every single comment on every single post.
Whoa.
Yeah, I care about it deeply.
Why?
It takes a lot of my time. Because if someone's going to take positive or negative, if they're going to take time to consume my content, whether it's 2 seconds of it or 2 minutes, and then leave a comment, leaving their own opinion, I think I owe it back to that person to reciprocate. I'm thankful that they watched the video. I'm thankful they left the comment, even if they disagreed and threatened me, which sometimes happens. Not quite threatened.
That's why you're going to Rumble, though, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's right. Catch the 1-2s, dog.
Hell yeah.
But a lot of the negative comments are just trolls.
Yeah.
And when I come back with a witty comment, which is how I counter those things, they usually back down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I was just messing around, man. Love your content. Or
they probably get surprised.
Or they want to come back, which is totally fine. I welcome, like, I love an actual debate. Like, if we have different opinions, that's a whole other topic. It's like food is so subjective and taste is literally subjective. Like, we can have different opinions and it doesn't make either of us right or wrong, even if I think that mine are correct, which I do most of the time. Damn, I lost my train of thought, but I was
dealing with negative feedback and engaging with your...
Yeah. Oh, so the other thing is, like, if someone wants to engage in, like, a battle of wits, I'm going to win that every time.
I agree with that.
Every single time. So if
your copy game is unlike
if someone
else.
wants to, like, get in the mud and, like, then try to, like, you know, be clever with me, I'm going to like step on their throat. They might not think it's the same way, because eventually they'll be like, dude, it's just a joke. Like, you're taking it way too seriously. Like, it wasn't a joke when you first said something, but now that I responded with something that you don't know how to handle, now it's a joke.
Yeah,
so I win. Yeah. I win. It's not about winning or losing, but I will win.
So you drop the phone.
Yeah, but I do care about responding to every single comment.
I think it's also
I spend a lot of time answering comments. Like, I almost every single comment. Now, if a video pops and there's hundreds and thousands of comments, it's hard to get to every single one.
How long?
Sometimes you have nothing to say, like if it's like really negative or whatever. But I care about it a lot.
How long are your dumps, dude? You just been chilling in the toilet, and your legs are super numb while you're commenting all these things, or what?
I don't think I spend any more time. I mean, I have my
stand up. Your legs are all dead.
I have my share of stomach problems, but I don't think I spend any more time on the throne than anyone else. But that's a guy thing, right? It's like, what are you doing in there?
I mean, I got 2 kids, bro. Like, now the bathroom's my office.
Years ago, I heard.
I'm just chilling there for way too long.
I heard
procrastinating.
I heard a Louis C.K. stand-up bit years ago. He was talking about being a parent and trying to find times for yourself and how hard it is and how few and far between those moments are. So he was basically saying how he comes to appreciate what he calls like mini vacations. And the example that he gave was when you put your kid in the car and you walk around on the other side, those 8 seconds of like pure bliss, those are like his vacations.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, or locking yourself in the bathroom for 25 minutes. Yeah.
But how do you balance like content creation, editing, your full-time job? Because people don't realize you have a full-time job.
That's right.
You're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do time blocking? Like, what's your routine? Do you have is it organized in a certain fashion?
No, it's not organized. I just try to do it all until I find myself like being spent and spread too thin, or if like I probably need to do a better job of like shutting down and not doing content after work.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I have a full-time job and
in marketing.
Yeah. But my focus is when I'm working, I try to focus on that. When I'm not working full-time, my focus is on my content, my relationship, and everything else outside of work. But I probably should time block, or like even for a couple hours a night, instead of like editing the video that I just filmed, I could do it tomorrow. I'll just watch TV on the couch with Marissa. Let's hang out with Oscar. Let's go for a walk. Let's do something else. But how do I balance it? Because I'm passionate about it. It's been working. I've seen some minor success in it. I believe it's minor success. So I'm trying to squeeze as much juice out of it as possible. And that requires sacrifice. So that requires not going out on weekends, because I'd rather hang out at home, order dinner, record that video, edit it, and post it. I could do those things and also go out, but I could work on another video instead of going out. If I don't go out, I could wake up earlier tomorrow, start planning the next couple things. So it is as important to me as my full-time job. I treat it as a full-time job.
Yeah.
Where when I'm not working my actual job, I'm thinking about content. Now, obviously, everything else in my life, my relationship, etc., those are all very important to me, and I try to balance them as best I can. But I am thinking about content and working on it as much as I can. But I also have the luxury of being able to shut it down if I wanted to. It's not a full-time job. I don't have to do it. I can do it as often or as much as I want, or as little as I want. Mm-hmm. So that's a really nice perk, I guess, where I'm my own boss in a sense, so I don't have to do I don't have to do anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's it's almost like an entrepreneurial thing, right? You know, like a lot of things, sometimes people, being an entrepreneur or your own boss or a content creator or whatever it may be is so glamorized, you know, but like, you know, people don't realize it's like your mind literally doesn't shut off. Like it's literally a 24/7 gig.
Yeah.
I know for me with my industry, like that's all I think about all day, every day.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a Sunday, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, and I don't care if it's a Tuesday, no matter what, like I'm just wired that way. How supportive is Marissa with that? Cause that's a lot.
Very.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love her 2 cents on the side.
So
too.
you would think she's not supportive because of her perceived refusal to come on screen and be a part of the content. But she is a part of it, and she knows that. It's a bit of a running joke now. She doesn't stay out of the picture just because she knows people want to see her, and she generally does not want to be on the video.
Yeah.
Or in the video, whatever. Which is totally fine. But she loves food like I do. She's adventurous. She's open to trying new things just like I am. And she knows that it has caught on, and I've started to see some success with it, and she's cool with it. But if she ever said to me like, hey, this is taking up too much time, this is like affecting our relationship, I'll stop the content tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I love that, bro.
Yeah,
And I think
she's a legend.
And also see if you're like burning out or hey, you need a break or something like that.
Yeah.
What does success look like for you?
I remember you asked me this question years ago. This is hilarious. You're going to love this. I was in your car one day. I forget where we were going, but you asked me this. And the example that I gave was I would love to be able to go to the store and buy feta cheese and pay full price, pay what it costs and not be upset about it. Because feta cheese is ridiculously
That's
it's like $7 for 4 ounces of feta cheese. It's crazy. So I would love to get to a point where spending the $7 on feta cheese is really no big deal. But you know what? Now, even if I come into this massive abundance of wealth, that doesn't change the fact that it's $7. That doesn't change the fact that it's too expensive. But I will feel less bad about it.
Do you still stand on that? What you define success?
Feta cheese is too expensive.
I'm so happy you said that. I really did forget about that. But now you say
I remember it because I don't have like people. I don't know how if anyone's ever asked me like what does success look like for me. But you've asked me that now it's twice, so that's why I remember the first time. But on the real, man, I don't know.
On the real.
I think financial security is important to me. It always has been. And I know it's not all about the money, but it does open doors and
for
create
sure,
possibilities
man. It's okay
for
to say
things.
that.
And for whatever reason, that has been sort of hardwired into me for a long time. Where it's not even so much of a hunger to have all this money. It's more of the opposite. It's like I am worried about money being really tight and having to live paycheck to paycheck, which I have done before. Not long ago either. Like a few years ago when I was unemployed, living in Hoboken, paying a lot of money for rent and having very little money come in, if any. And that was not fun. Making, omelets every night for dinner.
Yeah, it sucks.
Feta cheese. Probably should have done another.
American.
I was making mushroom and feta cheese omelets every night for like 6 months. But I should have done different cheese, to be quite honest.
Could you still eat a meal like that consistently like that? Not even just that specific meal, but like in general, could you still easily be able to eat the same meal 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row?
Yeah, I go through phases where like if we make something for dinner one day and it's really good, then all of a sudden I'm making it for lunch. Like we went through a wrap phase like 2 weeks ago where I was making wraps and burritos.
But you can get variety with the wraps and burritos, so that's good.
I think I could be okay with having the same thing every day for breakfast or lunch. Dinner, for whatever reason, I like to cook also.
Breakfast, I agree with. I could do breakfast, like if it's like a health, like a banana or something like that.
I could do a salad every day for lunch. I like salad. I think I could, but I need some
variety,
some outlet so cooking or ordering out, whatever the case may be. I can't do the same meal every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I don't necessarily meal prep because like that seems boring to me.
Yeah.
But I'll do the same lunch 2-3 days in a row, but maybe not 4 or 5. I don't know. It just depends. I go through phases in and out of things.
Do you?
I'm all over the place.
Do you strategize like what you do takeout, or you're literally like, do you know what? Like, hey, I'm ordering this today, and I'm just gonna fucking shoot content.
I would say it's somewhere in the middle, in the sense that I have a long list of places that I want to try and that people have recommended, but it always comes down to what Marissa and I are in the mood for. So we have the conversation, most weekends, Fridays and Saturday nights. What do you want to eat? Mm-hmm. Do you want to go out? Do you want to stay in? Okay. She's asked me to put a couple suggestions out there. Okay. What do you think about sushi or Greek food or Indian? And we go back and forth, and we usually struggle to come up with an answer like most people do. But it really depends on what we're in the mood for, and then but then she will defer to me in terms of like, has anybody recommended a great Cuban spot if we're in the mood for Cuban food? That's a silly example.
Do you always do, no, it's not a silly example because there is banging Cuban food in Hoboken. That's your go-to top 3? Like, you guys always list either sushi, Indian, or...
No. Sushi is usually tossed in the ring because we love sushi.
Yeah.
But we don't want to eat sushi every day. In fact, like if we had sushi tonight and we were ordering food tomorrow, we would probably start the conversation by saying, sushi's out. Because we had it yesterday.
Yeah, I couldn't agree.
And I think part of the reason why we love sushi is because we don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Have it, if we have it once a week, that's probably a lot.
I agree.
But we do love it. We might get sushi tonight.
I like that.
I love sushi.
Where's your favorite sushi in Hoboken?
Okinawa.
It is fire. Do you know that the same owners of Okinawa is right next door of Obagel? The Saka spot?
Saka is our number 2 spot. I forgot they have
the same. I don't know why they just didn't name it Okinawa.
I forgot about that. I had Saka for the first time about a month ago. It was just me. Marissa wasn't around, and I loved it. I thought it was a fluke. It's like, wow, this is delicious. And then Marissa, we had it maybe 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We both loved it. Now it's our number 2 spot. It just jumped Roppongi. Roppongi, which no disrespect to Roppongi, they have been usurped by Saka. And now I forgot the same owner of Okinawa. They run this town.
Roppongi's interior kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm not trying to hate on them, but like the rope and all that, I don't know what's going on.
We don't go out for sushi often. I've had Okinawa probably.
Do you prefer going out or takeout? Now takeout, probably for content, right?
Yeah, but I'll go out to eat and it won't be about content. I'm not always filming when I go out to eat. Sometimes when I go out, I am. I try to. That's another thing. I've tried to default to whether I'm out or home. If I can record, I do. I try to just have that mindset because I know how the value in just posting content and having things to post and being consistent and having something, I try to post every single day. So if I can record it, I will. But to get back on track, I think it depends what we're eating. Sometimes we just prefer to stay in so we don't have to, I can keep on sweatpants and we can just
you probably get this
take out delivery.
You probably get this all the time. What is your top 3 takeout?
Cuisines or like restaurants around this area?
Fine, let's do this then. For lunch, like if someone came to Hoboken and they were just coming for the day, where should they go for?
I would probably recommend a deli in general to people because I think it's a great lunch option, and we have so many good delis in Hoboken. I would tell them to go to Fiore's if it's a Thursday or Saturday, and if not, somewhere else. I think Vito's has the best variety in terms of delis in Hoboken. People love Lacerdo's. It's a very popular spot, but you really can't go wrong with any of the delis. Gigi's is like deli-ish, not quite. I guess maybe it's a deli. I love Gigi's. They have amazing chicken salad. We're talking about lunch, right?
No, it could be during the day. They're coming for the day. Breakfast, lunch.
I do have people reach out sometimes and say, I'm coming to Hoboken for the first time for the weekend. Like, what are your top favorite spots? So I'll just give my favorite restaurants.
Yeah, favorite spots.
Overall, I will say if you want to go out to brunch, Anthony David's is phenomenal. They are really the only like legit brunch option around here anyway, but it is very good. Bagel, if you want to grab a breakfast sandwich. Lunch, I will tell them the delis. I'll tell them about Gigi's. Mr. Wraps, that could be a lunch or dinner, depending on what you want. But for dinner, I always mention Antique. I love Antique. I love O'Neill's. Phenomenal. If people are ordering in, I'll offer up sushi. I'll say Okinawa's my favorite. Man, I don't know. There's a lot of good food around here. And Hoboken's small. Like Jersey City has so many good options. They're so diverse in Jersey City. Makes Hoboken look like nothing. It's also so much bigger. There's so many.
Yeah, it's only 1 square mile.
Yeah. Oh, and pizza. I talk about, I'll tell people I love 10th Street pizza. It's really expensive. It's not an everyday pizza. If you want to go out to eat, it's a nice thing to do with friends. But if you want like a regular pizza, Napoli's is amazing.
I like basil slice, dude.
I've only had it once. It was
Really?
good. Yeah, it's different. They had like
The panko on the bottom.
Different.
I think
I
it's
never
like
had
the
a pizza like
perfect-
that before.
I think it's the perfect slice.
Okay.
Like in and out, quick. Like, I think it's the perfect slice.
Okay.
But
I like
for,
basil.
but for
It was nothing
sitting
special to
down
me.
10th Street, I only like to. I'm not into like brands, like what I wear. I'm not a materialistic person, but spending money on food is like
Sure.
my guilty pleasure.
Everybody has a vice. And I don't know if the
Mine is
vice has a
food- mine
negative
is food and
connotation
bev.
to it. It's people spending money on what they want to spend money on.
An Antique, I agree with you on that because I feel like they have their own heartbeat. I'm big
Antique's
on that.
awesome.
I'm big on having your own pulse.
It's different. Antique
Yeah.
is different than other restaurants.
And going off of that, for let's just say, from your content and your marketing perspective, what should restaurants do to differentiate themselves on a marketing perspective? Like, how should restaurants, food and beverage, those brands, specific like small businesses, like market themselves?
Man, I feel like this is a question for you.
I would love to hear your thought.
Well, I say that because like you're in that world.
Yeah.
And you are constantly trying to, among other things, trying to innovate and market the brand in the best way possible. As a consumer, because that's what I am.
Yeah.
I think it's great when a restaurant either specializes in or is known for something in particular. We have the best burger in town. Our cocktail program is second to none. We have the best French onion soup. Our pasta is made in-house. Something where it doesn't have to be different from other places because a lot of places can make homemade pasta. A lot of places can have a bar and make really good drinks. But I think if it's nice and it's attractive to me as a consumer, when I walk into a place and I know this place is known for fill in the blank. I don't know if that's like a too vague of an answer.
I don't think that's vague at all, bro. I think that is a phenomenal answer. Seriously. And I recommend something similar to that all the time. I say you have to look at your P&L and you look at your top 3 hits, whatever's the most sold. Make sure it's also profitable. You gotta look at your food costs. So you're not advertising something that's like hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
And then also something you're proud of and passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it could be something that's, even if it's a burger, if you think your burger is the best and you're super proud of that burger, double down on that. And I agree with you. That's why the most popular concepts in America, the ones that are trending or viral or whatever it may be, they double down on one thing.
I want to add that like there are some great restaurants that don't specialize in one thing where everything they have is good. I'm going to use Il Tavolo as an example. Have you been to Il Tavolo by Acme?
No.
It's on 7th.
I know what you're talking about, though.
I've been to Il Tavolo probably 5 or 6 times. Every single time, I've had a great meal. I don't have a favorite item on the menu. I don't know what they're known for. If they are known for one particular dish or one particular thing, but all the food is good. And that could be part of your DNA also.
But
You don't need one thing. You don't need a gimmick to get people. And
sure.
gimmick is the wrong word to use.
But you need to have an opportunity to cut through the noise, though. Like
Yeah.
If you're trying to build an audience,
Yeah.
and you don't know what to do, and you have like 1,000 followers or 2,000, you keep on posting every single thing on your menu, and you're getting like bullshit photos. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a
you
whole
want to
other
make
thing.
sure you want to like double 10x on that one thing that you love. And then when people come, they're not going to only have that one thing. If they come with 5 people, they'll try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But I do think you need to have like something of a core focus, cut through the noise, and then of course whatever's on your menu. I'm hoping that, I mean, if you're a restaurant, you're a food concept, whatever's on your menu, you would hope it's successful and it's delicious.
I also love that. I also love when a restaurant has seasonal things, seasonal menus, where like the menu is ever changing, whether it's like specials are totally fine. I like when places have specials. Do you like specials?
I don't like when the waiter's sitting there standing right next to me and like I'm like, I don't know if I should give him eye contact or look at the menu, and he's just ripping it for like 5 minutes about specials. It's like, dude, just print it out. So if you got one special, I'll listen.
They're well rehearsed though.
But if they have 5 and they're reading off their piece of paper, I'm like, all right, dude, I'll just. Are you just trying to sell your leftover shit?
So that's generally when I hear specials, I'm like, when the waiter starts giving their spiel on specials, my mindset is this is all leftover stuff that they're packaging up into some other dish. But I'm open to being impressed by something that you said, and I'll order a special. I'll do it. But generally, I need to be like wildly impressed by something that I hear. And for whatever, like I don't know if it needs to be something that they say is
any stuffed pasta, item. Bro, gets me.
Stuffed pasta.
If I hear a stuffed pasta, if I see a stuffed pasta on the menu, but it's got to be homemade. Don't be giving me like Restaurant Depot lobster ravioli. Yeah. I don't want that. But if there's a stuffed pasta on the menu, I'm hitting it. Also, don't hit me with the market price. You know what I mean?
I hate a market
price. Because it makes me feel like a cheap ass being like, wait, so how much was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I just look like a cheap ass. They're like, yeah, $77. Like, all right, thank God I asked.
Yeah.
You know, when I was dating my wife, I never asked because I was like not trying to like.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, hell no.
Make it 2 lobster tails.
Next thing I know, I'm like, I'm like, my credit card passes through.
Yeah, you just drop 300 bills on like a quick dinner.
Because the food and restaurant space is a very competitive space.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to something you said about like being able to market what your differentiator is.
Yes.
Because that's a whole different thing. It's like you can have the best burger in town. I'm going to keep using that example.
Yeah.
But getting the word out and like your marketing, that is an entirely different world that I'm sure a lot of restaurant owners are still struggling to catch on to and to take advantage of, because you need people to find out about it. The food not only needs to taste good, it needs to look good, it needs to be Instagram worthy. And a lot of people who run businesses are not the best person to like run the social media. So finding somebody to help get the word out for you, whether it's somebody who works at the restaurant or you hire a marketing firm or you hire some intern or whatever the case may be, like you need somebody to help get the word out and help market the brand for you. In addition to hopefully people who come in and share on their own.
I agree with you. I think it's marketing.
It's not good enough for food to just taste good anymore.
Because I think sometimes people don't even realize, unless like you're crushing and you're super profitable, that's one thing. If that's what the type of business model you want to run, like Fiore's, God bless them, dude. Keep on doing you. They don't need a marketing team.
They don't need it.
They're like 80 years in the business. They got their one location. They got their little paper hats.
Yeah. In fact, that's always a good sign when like a legendary restaurant has, a dormant Instagram account. They don't need the marketing.
Yes. But if you do need it, I definitely, whatever you invest into the business, I think that's what suffocates small businesses, honestly, is like, it's so difficult and you have to be so disciplined to every $10 comes in to actually want to reinvest 9 or 9.5 and put it back into the business.
It's a world that I'm not familiar with, and it sounds daunting to say the least.
Anybody can do it, man. You just have to just be super, super disciplined. What, after all these restaurants and you shooting content and all of that, what would be a dream collaboration for you?
With a person in particular, or just like a business opportunity?
Anything. What comes to mind initially?
I would love to. I don't want to open a restaurant. I don't think that's not something that's on my radar. It's not something that I'm interested in. And I know there's a lot. It's not as glamorous as it seems, I would imagine. But I would love to be involved with a restaurant where like I have some sort of stake, some sort of skin in the game where I can help promote the restaurant and be, maybe I'm their chief marketing officer. And like my job is to get people in the door via social media. So having an opportunity to collab with like a restaurant or a chef to do something like that would be very cool. I don't have any specific.
That's interesting.
ideas,
I didn't know that.
But that's like my more long-term.
Yeah, but you would want like equity in a food business?
Maybe.
That would be like a dream scenario for you?
Maybe. Potentially. That's a very long.
Yeah, it's also me just like hitting you with the question.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to collaborate with like some people who I like respect in the food industry. Like Ina Garten, the barefoot contestant. She's like she's my queen.
Really?
Yeah. I call her mom.
Do you like that woman? Like,
love her.
Really?
My mom knows that I call her mom.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, she's the best. Obviously, like Gordon Ramsay is a legend in his own right for many.
I apologize for laughing at your role model.
That's fine. I will die on the Ina Garten Hill.
Hell yeah, dude.
And by the way, our community is strong, so be careful.
Are you fucking with me?
No, not
Ina
at all.
Garten is your girl?
Garten.
Ina Garten?
Ina.
She's so boring, dude.
No, she's not. She's the best.
Okay. Move on. I don't want to.
She's not.
I don't want
the
the Garden tribe to be hitting me.
She's not putting people in an idiot sandwich like Gordon Ramsay, but I would imagine that Gordon Ramsay is very off-putting to people because of his like over-the-top antics.
Fair.
Now, there's obviously they are maybe on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of like energy.
Yes.
But her chops in the kitchen are no joke. She's an actual legend in that space.
Fair.
I would love her to cook me a meal at her house in the Hamptons.
What would you like?
Oh, I don't care.
Just something.
Anything.
What comes to mind?
She's famous for her roast chicken.
Okay.
Which sounds like pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
But she's known for it, so I would love it.
Just some fresh herbs on there. Yeah, I see that. Nice little roasted chicken.
And then for like brand collaborations, because that's something I am in that world a little bit. I try to think of like my favorite all-time like snacks, because like snacks were a huge part of my life growing up and still are. Cheez-Its are like my favorite snack.
You look like a Cheez-It guy.
I have Cheez-Its at all times in my apartment.
Nice. You like them a little bit dark, or
The extra toasty.
Yeah.
I have a huge box right up there.
Just extra toasty?
Yeah.
They have those now?
Oh my God.
That's phenomenal.
I'll give you some. I will say though, now that I only eat extra toasty Cheez-Its. When I have regular Cheez-Its, they don't hit anymore.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm spoiled. Now I need like extra toasty.
I'm spoiled. I'm gonna have like a little goodie bag when I leave. I'm gonna have the Cheez-Its.
They're amazing. Those like burnt ones.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you get like a chip that's folded in half, or like a pretzel that's like misshaped. Like those always taste better for some weird reason.
It's the rustic ones, dude.
It's nice. So Cheez-Its. I grew up eating like Applebee's and Wendy's. Like those are two brands that have had a big role in my life. Like going out to eat with friends in high school. Yeah. So those are brands I would love to work with, like in a big way. But and I'm committed to making it happen. I think it's realistic.
I think it is too. I think after this pod, bro, we'll clip it up. We'll definitely get those.
Yeah, and they know. I try to tag them as often as I can. Swedish Fish is another one. Mm-hmm. Brother, don't tell me it was Swedish Fish. The little ones, not the big ones. They taste different.
Yeah, they're probably from like a different factory.
And the color ones are disgusting.
Yeah, you like the traditional red ones.
The little red ones.
I got you on that.
The mini Swedish Fish.
How about like influencers? Is there anyone you would love to do a collab with? But not even that. You collab with, and who are you inspired by? I guess then you would collab.
I don't have a wish list to collab with anybody. I'm open to collabing with anybody, and I am trying to do that more actively. I'm trying to like link up with people, just like have a conversation with, go out to eat, make content. I don't care what it is. I want to pick people's brains who are also in the world that I'm in, making content similar to what I'm doing. And every time I do have a conversation with somebody, it's nice to get their perspective. Mm-hmm. I saw Kate yesterday. We had like a 15-minute conversation outside of Dunkin'. Mm-hmm. We were just chatting about life, about content.
She's cool.
She's a beast.
Yeah, she is.
So
she's a savage, dude.
Yeah, and she's a rock star, and she's like the real OG like Hoboken content creator.
Yeah.
So I look up to Kate in many ways because she like has paved the way for a lot of people, not just in Hoboken. Like she's a beast. She's a boss.
I respect her consistency, dude.
She's fantastic.
And like her authentic self. She doesn't give a fuck.
No, she does not pull punches. She is unapologetically, unabashedly herself.
Which is why she's winning.
Yeah. How Kev Eats is great. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he like sitting in the car is like, people love that. That's like a big vertical.
He has to put that seat all the way back, right?
He has to.
Right? That thing is, you got custom cars.
And I wonder if he uses the fisheye lens or something. Like, he looks like he's sitting in, like, the back of an 18-wheeler sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But he's awesome.
Is there a certain amount of piece of content you, like, strive to have a week?
I try to post almost every day.
Do you post every day?
Almost.
Wow. That's hard, dude.
I don't usually post on Fridays and Saturdays just because I have no proof that the videos don't perform as well. I haven't analyzed it. But I know just because just talking to friends and seeing what people are doing, I know people are out doing things more on Fridays and Saturdays. Fair. And even though we are glued to our phones, we're not sitting on the couch scrolling for 2 hours like we are on a Tuesday night after work.
Agreed.
So I don't, if I have content to post and I want to get it out, I'll post it on a Friday or Saturday, but Sunday through Thursday, almost every day I'm posting something. Is there any trends that you're seeing now that you want to jump into, like you double down on or advise anyone else to double down on? No, I don't really do trends. I don't mean by trends by like doing a new song or a new dance. What I mean by is like maybe like TikTok live or short reels or add music or something like that. I think going live is really interesting. I've had a lot of success doing Instagram live. Back when the pandemic started, my roommate and we were doing horse races on Instagram live every day. We had I gave him this little racetrack. It's about this big. It's about 10 inches long. It has 6 lanes, little colored horses. They're like Monopoly pieces. And you line up, you press the button, and it's battery powered, and they race to the finish line. And we did it on Instagram Live one day because there were no sports. Right. And we were like, we need to create sports for people. We need to like have some sort of like entertainment, something for people to get excited about. There's no one can watch sports. Nobody can bet on sports. People are dying out there. That was filling a void that for ourselves. Like, we can't watch any basketball. Like, they just canceled March Madness. Like, this is horrible. So we started doing it on Instagram Live, and it became a thing. We did it every single day at 2:00. No way. For like 6 months. No way. To the point where we were keeping track of number of wins that people had. Like, people would essentially, anyone who was watching Instagram Live can like throw their name in the hat, and we would randomly pick 6 people, assign them randomly to a different horse, a different color, a different lane. And that's how we would do it every day. And like, you never knew if you jumped on the Instagram Live, if you'd be able to be in the race. And people wanted to be in the race so bad. And it was a combination of that and like my roommate and I just shooting the shit. And like, that was, it clicked and something worked in the Instagram Live. And being consistent's key as well to that as well. To this day, if I go to Instagram Live right now, someone will say, like, are we doing a horse race today? You should bring it. Might be a friend. It might be now that was mostly friends at the time. That was before I started posting food content. So it's pretty much just people who I like know personally. And how about now though? Because that was a while ago. Do you think it still hits doing live? I do. Yeah. You think what do you think about TikTok live? I haven't given it a fair shot. I've done it a few times. Once I was on there and all of a sudden there were like 800 people and they're watching me just like. And I didn't know what to do. And the problem with that was, with TikTok, it's people I don't know. Not just people who follow me who I don't know, but like they put your live into people's For You pages that they think might want to watch it. So it really could be random people, and for the most part, it is. So I feel more comfortable on Instagram because I know that there are people who are watching who I know personally. But I do think they're pushing live. They're obviously pushing TikTok Shop. So if you have something to sell, you got to do TikTok Shop. I know. We're going to have this conversation. Yeah. We're going to talk more about it. But I think live is great. I think doing Q&A is great. In whatever format you want. I like doing it like I post an Instagram story and I put the little question box. I ask a question and people give me the answers. That's how I like doing it. And I can respond back with a story. I can respond back with a DM. But I think giving people access, and you don't have to have a big account. You can have 10 followers. Giving people access to you to ask you a question one-on-one, I think that's really nice. Whether it's in a live or in a Q&A format.
Yeah, because when your question is answered, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
It's nice.
It is.
Yeah. And people have questions for friends, for celebrities, for creators, for whatever. So I like being able to connect with people on like a more one-on-one basis, because otherwise I'm just posting a video and I can answer their comment, but it's not happening in real time. Like the videos from a couple days ago, I see your comment tomorrow, I'm on to the next thing, I'm answering your comment, but it's not really a one-on-one conversation. I'm just responding to what you said. It's different.
No,
it's a little more personal.
You're very good with. I think that's what's. I feel like you're very relatable. You're like the dude next door.
That's what I'm trying to. That's the whole goal of.
You're like.
That's also part of.
You're not like flexing with a new watch, this and that. You're like, oh, I could be boys with that dude. I want to be. You're like, I want to be at that guy's kitchen table.
That literally is my. Like the goal with the kitchen table content is to make it feel as if you're watching the video, it feels as if you are sitting across from me at the table. We're eating a meal. We're talking about the food. We're talking about everything, anything. We're just talking. Once I press play, Marissa and I just have a conversation. We're eating dinner. We're talking about the food, and I'm reacting to the camera to like talk about what we're eating. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, we're just having a conversation because.
Are you recording the whole meal? Or you go for like the first third?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
But like the video will run for 10, 12 minutes sometimes.
Oh, wow.
You only see it cut down to like 90 seconds.
Yeah. You do a phenomenal job with editing. Were you always good at editing?
No.
You just
I've only been editing.
You're very good
my
at
videos for like less than a year, probably 6 months.
They're money.
Maybe a year.
Dude.
I don't know. Thank you. But I want it to feel as if you're at the kitchen table because I was fortunate enough growing up to have dinner with my family every night. So we all sit at the kitchen table, talk about our day, talk about school, talk about whatever. And then I loved going out to eat with friends and talking about, the hot girl at school and whatever, sports, anything. So I think there's something really nice and special about the conversations that happen at the table, the kitchen table, the dinner table, whatever. So I try to basically recreate that environment with my videos, which is ironic because it's just me talking to my phone.
No, but it makes you feel that way, and I agree with that. And I think it's authentically that because you have Marissa next to you.
Yeah.
I think it adds, and then you have Oscar.
Yeah.
If you have a table, if you go out to dinner, and you could pick 3 different people to sit down and have a meal with, who would those 3 people be? Anyone.
Damn. I don't know. That's a really, really hard question. I don't know which direction to take it because, man.
Talk through your thought process. What are you indecisive between?
Well, I think people are expecting me maybe to pick, maybe you're expecting me to pick like 3 people I respect in the food industry. I'm thinking completely differently. I'm thinking like my grandparents, like things like that, who I don't get to see.
Oh, you're a good at.
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to think of like who I would love to have a dinner with, or like. Yeah. But I'm also thinking about like my favorite athletes. Like I'm all over the place. Comedians. Like I'm thinking about people who I would love to just have a meal with. Yeah. And I don't know what that answer is.
Because it all depends on like the conversation, Because each piece really matters.
Yeah, and I could pick the 3 people who I want to be with. It doesn't mean that the 4 of us are going to gel.
Yeah, but who would those be?
Mike Piazza.
Okay.
Ina Garten. And someone who's like brain I could pick. Like someone like Albert Einstein.
Okay.
Something like that. I'm trying to think of like people who I would love to talk to for like both selfish reasons and just like for their like breadth of knowledge.
What the hell would you ask Albert Einstein?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I feel like he's just like, and I apologize for laughing at your answer.
No, it's fine. It's a ridiculous.
Because I'm really.
I don't think I like my answer either.
You'll text me later.
I would love to ask him like stupid questions, see how he would react to that.
Like, what do you think about gravity?
Or yeah, right. Or like, hey man, like, what do you think about like ranch versus blue cheese with buffalo wings? Like, you have a preference? Like things that he probably would never thought about. I think it'd be interesting.
I love that trio, dude.
Yeah.
That's what makes you you, though.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah. It's a terrible answer.
No, it's not a terrible answer.
I'm gonna get back to you tomorrow after.
It's not a terrible answer, dude. It's a funny answer, and it's your answer. And there's 3 different reasons why you love them.
And Mike Piazza, because he's my
he's your childhood hero, probably.
Yeah, I'm a Mets fan, die hard, so he's my guy.
And you want to know the recipe of Ina Garten's roasted chicken?
Yeah.
And you want to know if Albert Einstein prefers blue cheese or ranch on buffalo chicken wings?
Ina Garten hosts dinner parties all the time, so I think even if she's not the most energetic person, she would be a professional, a consummate professional in like making sure that the table has a great environment.
Yes.
She would be the glue for the 4 of us.
She would be the glue.
Yeah, she would.
I love that.
Einstein would be the outcast more than me. Probably.
Fucking nerd.
He probably would be in many ways, which is nice.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's what he gets.
I appreciate you, though, man.
Likewise.
For real, dude. This was a good time.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy to be in the home and the casa, seeing the bowl behind you.
Is there anything you wanted to get out? Any questions that you want me to ask you? You've been dying to touch on?
No,
Is there anything that I said that like you wanted to react to that I didn't give you a chance to because I was just pontificating?
Phenomenal word.
Thank you.
No, man, I feel like that's what's going to be exciting about this pod.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you was like, what's the goal for the pod?
I think it's just talking
Short term and long term, or maybe you don't have long term.
I think the short term and long term is just I've been very blessed to, Obego's opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I've been able to have like really cool conversations with like some really cool people, and I would love an opportunity to like extend those conversations. And I love finding out what makes them them and like what makes them tick. And I love the food and beverage space so much with all my heart. And I just want to, I think I will also just, it's a great excuse for me to find out more about them and for me to provide value for them, which is like being able to really magnify their story and who they are by the content I can provide them. You know, some clips. We have CG's the man with my marketing side of things. We have a great marketing team, and I'm hoping I can provide value in that way.
Sure.
And I'm hoping it opens up more opportunities. And we got Marissa and Oscar.
There we go.
Perfect opportunity.
Great timing. There he is. Incredible. So, last question then. Why now? Why did you decide to do it now?
I feel like it's because I've just been always wanting to.
Relax.
Oscar's not that big. Oscar's big, but there's my in-laws have he's like massive. He's like the perfect size.
He's on a diet. That's why.
He's dieting. Oscar, say hi to Christian. Say hi to Steve.
So yeah,
Relax.
Okay, want cookie, Shush?
Oh my God.
I would love a cookie too.
This is a great way. This is
the perfect way to end
the
it.
unceremonious finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason why I want to do it now, dude, is because like, why not? You know? And I always like preach so much advice to others.
Well, you do so much. That's why I was thinking like, he has time for a podcast.
And I think it's just being able to be more organized with my time.
Right.
I think so. What do you think?
Once a week?
Yeah, it's once a week, you know, and just make sure, like, I'm now way more, that's why I was asking about time blocking and routines and all of that. Now having 2 kids, I'm like super, I would never was, I'm like ADD, so I could just like every day go fly by.
Yeah.
But I'm big on like living up to your full potential, making sure that every day is like being productive.
Yeah.
So that's why.
It's admirable, by the way.
I appreciate it, man.
You're not complacent.
Never.
No.
I get anxiety if I am, though.
Sure.
You know?
I'm sure you think of it as like maybe to a fault sometimes, because when I get in that mindset, I think about that as well. But from my perspective, it's admirable. It's motivating.
I appreciate that, man. I think that's why it's like cool to. I don't even see it that way. I just see it as like being able to just live up to my biggest fear is to not live up to my fullest potential.
I feel that.
You know, and that's why I like to try to align myself with other people that are like putting themselves out there and doing things that they're passionate about. So it's either influencers or investors in a food and beverage space, like for CPG products or whatever it may be, restaurateurs, chefs, everyone involved in this circle. So there's so many inspiring people I just want to kind of highlight. I feel like I love sports, but that's not who I am. So like, I think that's such a saturated market, real estate, and I'm not into like the materialistic things, and I feel like there's a lot of other influences like that, like in the food and beverage space.
Sales, those like sales.
Yeah. I want to like focus on food and bev.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's already enough food out there. I just want to focus on like the people behind the food.
I love it.
So we'll see how it goes. But again, I appreciate your time,
It was
dude.
a pleasure. I'm glad I was able to be a part of it.
Yeah, dude. I hope you enjoyed.
We're gonna come back to this episode and think about how this is funny actually. This is the second podcast.
Yeah.
And my second video was the Old-Bagel video. So and now look how far my videos have
Numerology.
come. So when we're gonna come back to here in like
I hope
1,000
so, man.
episodes and be like, wow, remember the second one? That's where it all started.
Hell
Really.
yeah, and Oscar with the grand finale.
It was a perfect ending.
And I'm gonna hold you to it that I want some toasted Cheez-Its when I
Done.
get out of here.
Done.
My boy.
Done.
Appreciate you. Thank you, dude.
Of course, bro.